Oh my God. Are we streaming?
We better be.
Oh my God, it's not streaming. What the fuck, dude? Why is it not streaming? Oh my God. You fucking piece of shit. Oh shit. Are we streaming? Can you guys see us? Oh my God. That's a way to start the stream.
Hell yeah. We were on time.
We were on time.
Good.
Oh, I see what was wrong. There was just a little thing covering the thing that said it was actually streaming. Whoo! Well, all right. Sorry about that, boys.
Good.
Do I have the live chat up? I'm switching it from top chat to live chat. Thank you so much. Good to see you guys. We had a pretty cool weekend.
We did.
Went to
Up to Dallas.
Yeah, up to Dallas to North Texas RPG Con. Dare to Wonder started reading Hazlitt's Economics in One Lesson. Excellent. I have a video about that coming out within the next 2 weeks. I mean, it's not just about that, but about economics and role-playing games. But good to see everybody. Yeah, we went to North Texas RPG Con this last weekend. It was a lot of fun. We were only there Saturday, and then we took off Sunday because on Sunday everyone else took off. Nothing was happening. But it was a ton of fun. We're definitely going to go back next year
for the full
thing, and we're going to run games. We're going to play games. So if you guys want to come see us there, you should definitely do that. It was really cool, though. We got to, some of you may have seen the video we posted today. Nick got to interview Victor Raymond of the Tékumel Foundation.
Yeah, which was awesome.
It was awesome. We got
Very
drinks
unexpected.
with him. Yeah, got drinks with him for like 2 hours afterwards, just talking role-playing games and his experiences. And it was
he has a lot of good stories.
Yeah, he's a lot of really good stories. Very, very good guy. Very generous with his time. And it was just supremely fun. We also got to talk to, we hung out with Ryan Howard of Rollin' Bones for quite a bit, and interviewed him and the Wonky about RPG, where they see RPGs going, but also about their recently funded Kickstarter and what stage of their Kickstarter they're in. And
what do they have going on in the future? Or hints at that.
Hints at that, yeah. And so we, it was a lot of fun. Ryan is awesome.
We'll have that interview out later.
Yeah. Sometime next week. Edens says my body is ready. Good. Exciting, yeah.
It is.
I'm going to need you both to take a step back and really think about whether or not you want me to spend more money on yet another book.
Thought about it and have an answer.
Yeah, we have an answer, and that answer is if you can only buy one book, wait just a little bit because we have a book coming out.
Yep.
Step 1, buy many great RPG books.
Correct.
Step 2, pile them on a table. Exactly. Step 3, lift them all while reading them each in turn. Sounds like a plan. Work that 5x5 workout. Exactly. Currently listening to the Tékumel video BLG put out. Nice. Well, Nick also purchased the Tékumel source book.
Yes.
Because I believe he already had one of them.
So I have a game called Bethorm, which is it was kickstarted maybe 10. God, is it 10 years ago at this point? It can't be quite that long, although maybe it is. Put out by Jeff D, who is associated in some capacity, I'm not sure, but with the Tékumel Foundation, with the assistance of Victor Raymond and a bunch of people from the Tékumel Foundation. But I didn't have this. This is a reprint from the original Empire of the Petal Throne box set. there are 2 other books that are associated with this. This is the setting and lore information, of which there is a lot. This is like 8-point font, 9-point font.
Oh my god, yeah, the font is so small. It's like the DMG but worse.
Yeah, and so because there are a lot of fantasy words, the amount of work and world building is way more than anything I've seen in any book.
Yeah.
But this was also initially printed in the 70s. I think it came out 1975 initially. So there's no typeface on a typewriter for a lot of the script and the characters. And all throughout this book, Professor Barker, I'm assuming it's Professor Barker, went through with a pen, put all of the accents, all of the non-Latin characters directly on here.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah. Every little accent mark he put in with a pen. It's nuts.
There's so many accents.
Yeah. Only human player characters are the best. That is correct.
That's true.
Wow, this must have been important for them to nail it on the dot like that. Yeah, but we fucked it up. So it's fine. You're streaming and you're on time. Excellent. Hilarious.
As intended.
It's working. Good. Let me see here before I click that up. Oh, nope. Don't do that, okay?
Yeah.
It's I get the joke, but
We
it's
all
going
get
to
the
make
joke.
We all get the joke. It's going to make us radioactive and impossible to talk to
Right.
other people.
Yeah,
so
if you want to make it more difficult for us to talk to other people.
yeah, please don't do that, and please don't abuse the Biden TTS either with this. For those of you who don't know, the guy who wrote the Tékumel books, also wrote some very controversial things that have been
That are not associated with this book or
associated-
anyone in the Tékumel Foundation.
Tékumel Foundation.
So
It's been a big source of embarrassment for them, and we are not going to add to that humiliation at all. So please don't do that.
yeah,
Tech-tards. Yep.
as they're known.
I'm ready to be Tékumel build. Uncharacteristically timely. Yeah. Well, we made sure, it's so stupid that
Yeah,
we fucked up the beginning of it, but last week the chat highlight thing
didn't work for some
yeah,
reason.
it just wasn't working. It was really fucking frustrating. So we set everything up early,
And we were already late before.
restarted the computer, like everything, and then it happened. It's good, especially how he says, "I have the imagination and opportunity costs." When we get here,
Under a pseudonym.
under a pseudonym. That's correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
M.A.R. Barker wrote it under a pseudonym. So for once you're on time. Preposterous. Yeah. Sound is stuttering. That's probably on your end. Because it sounds perfect on the Van's end. Let me see here. The history of Tékumel in early development is very interesting. I still have no idea how it is played.
Well, check out the interview.
Check out the interview, and we can talk about that a little bit as well.
Yeah.
I have
And
not played Tékumel.
And I think we're probably in a bit, we'll go through, because I was reading through this after I picked it up, the introduction section to this book. It's really, really good. He gets so much right. Some stuff I do disagree with, but Barker explicitly tells you the correct approach, the correct mindset to dive into this world, because he knows, and Victor Raymond and people in the Tékumel Foundation, the people who are putting out this book, and other material as well, they all understand it's a very dense setting. It's a very it's a very alien world. There is a tremendous amount of depth if you want to learn it all, but you do not have to, and you're not even really intended to do a deep dive on the world. You really are expected to skim through it, look through, find what interests you, and just dive in. And at your own pace, expand as is necessary, and your world is going to be different.
Yeah, and it's expected to be, and that's what he says, right?
Yeah, it's expected, it's intended, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, that was one of the cool things that we were talking about with him is that old school D&D, the kind of in Adventurer Conqueror King and things like that, you're kind of supposed to be on the fringes and edges of civilization and going out into the wilderness and things like this.
Right.
And that is kind of flipped in Tékumel because you are essentially a barbarian who has moved to the heart of civilization, to the heart of the empire.
Right.
And your kind of meta goal for the first part of the game is to basically try and integrate, and you have to do that by you have to make money to survive, and so you're being hired by these people who are your patrons who may sponsor you basically to become a citizen of the empire.
Right. And it's a very stratified society where everybody has a clan, has a place. If you are trying to integrate, it's very important from an in-world perspective that you have a place, you have a name associated with you. You can't. This isn't sort of Ren Fair.
No.
I'm just going to move to the big city and open up a shop.
No.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, is good. Like, you have an incentive.
Yeah.
The premise is it's directing you to immerse yourself in this culture, which is alien in many ways to your
and
character.
weird, and it's supposed to be.
Right.
It's alien to both your character and to you as a player if you've never played.
Right.
And it's,
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say we'll talk about a little bit of the kind of the lore of the setting and what it is, because it's very out there and weird. And
in
cool.
a good way. This is not a Gonzo setting.
No,
at all.
No, not at all. It's very,
crazy,
very cool.
But it all makes sense. But I've been thinking a lot about that point that Victor made when we were talking to him. I don't have all my thoughts together, but I've been trying to think, if you have at least those two dynamics where you're in D&D, you're leaving civilization and entering into the wilderness. With this, it's the opposite, as you said. I've been trying to think what subgenres or what flavors of the adventuring genre in tabletop games, like how many different flavors are there? I feel like there's an interesting topic for discussion here, but I don't have my thoughts.
Yeah, I haven't zoomed in on it yet. Let me see here. Logged back in and the sounds good. Nice. Dare to Wonder got to play VTR with I believe Buttquack was the storyteller or GM for that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
There are neat ideas, but the system is kind of convoluted compared to V5. I have not played V5. That's Nick's wheelhouse.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that. It's way better than an original VTM.
I know. It's I've got a way too much experience playing VTR, so it's like second nature to me. I haven't played it in a very long time, so I would need to brush up, but I know how the basic dice pool mechanics work and the kind of social mechanics and whatnot. Which admittedly, some of the social mechanics in VTR suck. But that's the entire New World of Darkness game line.
Right.
But that's cool. Yeah, I love VTR.
Barbarians traveling to the seat of civilization and having customs that interfere with integration, how novel and def not true to life.
Thank you for the $5.
Thank you. Something Biden would never say.
Yeah. No, I mean, but that it is true to life. That's you are a fish out of water, and that's what it is when you immigrate to a different place. And yeah, it's really very cool. One of the parts of that conversation that you got to have with Victor that was great. I forgot I was wearing my hat. Was talking about how M.A.R. Barker got into D&D, and
after
doing
was really cool.
doing a couple dungeon delves, he was asking okay, what's outside of the dungeon though? Like what's
Right.
the rest of the world?
He gets it.
Yeah. He's saying it. He's saying the line. He's asking the question, because that's always been our question. That's one of the reasons that we don't like specifically dungeon crawlers per se.
Right.
And again, you can do role-playing in D&D and have a world and have dungeons that make sense, and you can do that, but a lot of people just don't. And a lot of games don't give you the fuel for that.
It's completely absent in a lot of products.
Yeah. But not in Tékumel.
Definitely not.
Yeah, Tékumel is extraordinarily thought through.
Yeah. Like he went
like
went
to
what is it?
absurd levels.
What did Victor say? He learned. Professor Barker learned about D&D. He saw someone was playing. Oh, that's very interesting. And then Spring Break happened.
It was in 1973. So this is a year before D&D came out. Somebody had the
preliminary or play test, whatever the
which is apparently in the public domain. That manuscript.
Yeah, well,
which I didn't fucking know.
He said it was. So I'm wondering if can you reclaim something?
I don't think so. If it's in public domain, it's in public domain.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to dig more into that.
Right. We do. But anyway, he started playing with some of his students. And then spring break happened. He'd asked this question, what's the rest of the world?
Right.
And as Nick astutely pointed out, he went and wrote his character's backstory, which was
the entire planet.
Yeah. He wrote like 115 pages of shit for Tékumel.
No, it was, maybe he said 115, but I thought he said 150.
Oh, maybe 150 pages of material.
115 is also...
Yeah, which is also absurd. And brought that and was like...
Especially if it was 9-point font like this.
Yeah, I know. But he brought that back and was like, we should play this.
Like, okay. And they did.
Yeah. I prefer Arduin myself.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. I've heard the name, but Jeff D of the Atheist Experience? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
If Jeff D is involved in Tékumel, I would be surprised. But he was at the con. We just didn't see him.
Along with a lot of other people.
Yeah. We did get to meet Kelsey Dion.
Yes, we did.
She was
very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah. Like super generous with her time. Told her about the Shucked Oyster, and she thanked us for making a supplement for her game. And it was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
More 5-star reviews of Kelsey, basically. Get out the magnifying glass. And well known. Talking about Jeff D. Let me see here. Good evening, W.R. Winter. How are you?
Hell yeah.
The Pei Choi were also player characters.
That is true. One of the few allied races to humanity. Allied species. They're an insectoid. They're not Thrykean. Very different.
Very different. Separate the art from the artist. Exactly.
Correct.
Thank you. This guy. Don't know what that means. Nothing better than driving home after work with BLG playing.
Yeah, man.
That's what we like to hear.
Broken
How's
Blade.
it going, Broken Blade? Good
What's
to see
up?
you. I know all you guys commented these like 20 minutes ago, but what are you gonna do?
That's par for the course.
Can't wait to listen to this at work tomorrow. Nice.
Hell yeah.
So Tékumel is like the 40K setting. No.
How so?
I
mean, there was a dark age of technology.
It's like a much darker age of technology in Tékumel, though, right? There basically is no... I mean, outside of like alien technology you find in the underworld.
Dungeons because I'm claustrophobic.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. Oh my God, the mouse is being a mouse. There we go. I don't think they're anything alike.
Not really.
Yeah.
No. It's not a sci-fi.
Technically, it's sci-fi, I guess.
It is, but not really.
Yeah.
You're not flying around on spaceships.
Yeah.
Or have power armor.
This sounds pretty cool. Seems to center on the mundanity of a normal life. I can dig that.
That's the thing. It would be if this
If you live
world
in
was
this-
anything like ours.
Yeah, but it's super not. Because the thing is, there is an underworld to it. There is
Right.
the dungeon delving stuff. There's also competing empires, I think, correct?
Yes,
And like factions and religions and lots of weird monsters.
But even like the quote unquote humdrum, the everyday life for like most people that you're trying to integrate in. This is so like non-Western European.
Yeah. If you're
it seems so like there's some inspiration from like Mesoamerica,
different
Mesopotamia as
Asian
well.
cultures as well.
Right, and not in like a one-to-one
No,
thing.
not at all.
You really can't see where the inspiration came from. This is inspiration in the truest sense of the word.
And M.A.R. Barker started creating Tékumel when he was a kid. Like he started thinking of this world, and so he already had this world before D&D had been created. You know, before all of this
way
before. And so he brought this. Was like, oh, we could go and play in this. Like this is the vehicle. This could be a vehicle for my world.
Right.
And it would be nice. Didn't the Romans take the children of conquered barbarian tribes back to the empire to Romanize them? I don't know.
Probably.
I am functionally illiterate, so in the sense of Tékumel being an out there setting, it has that in common with Arduin. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Cool. I'll have to look into it.
Sifting through the many subgenres is worthwhile. Yeah.
I agree.
And about the VTR game, played a huge jerk. On top of being a vampire, he's a Carthian, so the bad guys.
Man.
Yeah. And on top of that, he's a Ventru, and on top of that, he's a movie producer.
Checking all the boxes.
I think he said in the locals that he was sort of basing the character off of like a Harvey Weinstein. Just gross. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The only convoluted thing I found in VTR was in 2E, and that's the beats in XP. It is different.
The story beats. I don't like the story beats.
I don't like it either. I thought I did when I first read it, but
what are the keys and doors?
Yeah, that's the social system that I was saying. It fucking
worst.
sucks. Yeah. And that's in every New World of Darkness game, every Chronicles of Darkness game. They have that keys and doors system. It sucks. I was wondering where one would start with VTM or World of Darkness in general. Well, it kind of depends. If you want classic old World of Darkness, probably just get either Vampire 5th Edition core book or V20. Vampire the Masquerade 20th edition. 20th anniversary edition. Those would be good starting points. V20 is going to have a lot of stuff in it because it's a compilation of like everything. I would say if you want to get started with the better World of Darkness, go with Chronicles of Darkness and get Vampire the Requiem 2nd edition or World of Darkness, the God Machine Chronicle. Those are good places to start. Or if you want to go old school, new school, you can go and get the 1st edition of World of Darkness, the Blue Book from 2004, and go from there. That's one of my favorite role-playing games of all time.
Yeah, I would say definitely do that if you're interested in
horror.
The world with horror or the World of Darkness in general. I would say if you're interested in Vampire, I would say pick up 5th edition first. Watch our video. I would say on what the gimmick is of Vampire the Masquerade. Because Masquerade very much so is, as we say, it's a mafia game.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do that, if that's not interesting to you, pick up VTR.
Yeah.
Or if you want to pick up any of the 20th anniversary editions, I would not pick up any of the modern VTMs, but I would pick up Dark Ages, 20th anniversary Dark Ages Vampire, if that is interesting to you.
Dark Ages,
I love it. And it's
Dark
the most,
Ages.
it's by far the most gorgeous of those premium 25 anniversary editions.
Nice.
So I've never gotten a chance to run it for more than
That's
couple
right.
of sessions.
Yeah, we ran it for 1 or 2.
Yeah.
That was fun. I shouldn't have played a Malkavian, though. So I listened to the previous vid. You work for patrons. Is the game then supposed to be mostly social and political?
It can be. But it's not confined to the social or political.
Yeah.
So Let's say you're a martially minded character. Obviously, someone who is looking to join. Like, think of it like you're a Germanic tribesman joining the Roman Empire. To get like a baseline, you could very easily join the Roman Legion, just like you could join up with the Solyani military. There's always war happening, as Matt said. There are rival empires. Are constant border skirmishes. I believe there's an active war. I don't know how hot the war is, but there's a war between the Solyani Empire, which is the titular empire of the Petal Throne, with a rival like confederacy called Yan Kor. There's an active war happening there. So the Empire needs soldiers. If you are good with a blade.
And again, this is one of those things where if you have imagination, you can look at the world.
Right.
You don't have to start in the heart of the Empire and do this path into it.
Yes.
It's just that this is sort of like the default assumption of the game. So
Right.
it's a very big world with a whole lot of stuff going on. And you can take it in any direction that you want. And we were talking about this. Axe would actually be probably a very good system to run
It would.
this game in, because you have these big empires with not only like different social classes, but the different kind of ranks within it, and baronies and things like that, even though they're probably called some Gleep Glorp word, that he's
Yes.
made up.
Yes. That was also one of the best parts when you asked.
Oh yeah, hold on.
I'll catch the replay. Just wanted to toss you a few bucks. Have a good stream, boys.
Oh,
Thank you, man.
$10, Ken.
That's
That's
very
awesome.
generous.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
really appreciate that. And this will be up for you to watch after this.
Yes. But when you, because there's a hex map.
So he's got these they're making these hex maps that are like taking the old map that was very like monochrome, and they're adding color to it. So he had like all these like transparencies that he was laying over them, and I asked him,
what was the width of one of the hexes?
Yeah, I was like, "What's the scale on the hexes?" And what did he say?
It's in Imperial San, obviously, which just turned. What was it? It's like.
He goes through all like the different names of the distances and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, which conveniently works out to about 6 miles.
Which it isn't.
Yeah.
It was like 133.33 repeating or something.
Yeah. It's
so funny.
It's so funny.
They're in here, all the distances, which is amusing.
Yeah. Tolkien-esque level of detail and of languages and cultures. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah,
Professor Barker, like Tolkien, was a what's the a philologist?
I don't know.
A doctor. He had a PhD in languages.
Mm-hmm. Got to be honest, the creator sounds like the worst players to have 115 pages of backstory. Yeah, it was the joke of that he created a campaign setting and said,
right.
Arduin is fun, but Tékumel is amazing.
But even for me, and I hate long drawn out backstories, I would 100% let that person in my. If you came back to me with 150 pages, like I have to see this through. Like,
Arduin has a new Kickstarter.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
Cool.
D's nuts. Yeah, that's right. Let's see here. Arduin is an early D&D published setting. It has the earliest critical hits table, to my knowledge. Okay,
Oh,
cool. Oh shit! Forgot you guys went to the con. Hope it was what you were looking for. Any standout moments besides chatting with the girl from Shadowdark? Yeah, we got to meet Thraxus, which was awesome. Only very briefly because it was like end of Saturday night at the bar.
I think he was turning
and he was
in
turning in
or-
and like had to leave the next morning.
Yeah, we ran into a couple other subscribers of ours, which was nice.
Yeah, that was
really
cool. We got recognized by a couple of people, which was really fun. Nick's friend John, who's
John Watson of Rugby Melee Games.
Yeah, he published Hell Train for DCC.
Yeah.
Which you must have told me that he was a competitive strongman, but I fucking forgot that detail because you're like, oh, here's John. I looked over and there's this just
giant
ridiculously jacked guy coming out. I was like, this is awesome. Strikingly good physiognomy at this convention as well, and generally pretty good hygiene. Like it was very few freaks
Yes.
There was like one or two that I saw, but everyone else was strikingly normal.
Yeah. It was great.
X card time, yeah. I mean, it's like 40K because you're supposed to just go to a place you're into and focus on that. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I guess because 40K is also a very dense world.
Yeah. So this is a good time, a good segue here to talk about the lore, I guess. Tékumel is a future apocalypse setting on a planet that has been sucked into a pocket universe. Yeah.
Yes. 60,000 years from now, humanity terraformed this planet, and
you said it was supposed to be kind of like a pleasure planet, kind of like Risa in Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah, it sort of became that over time. So humanity and some other spacefaring species, because most of the alien species also in Tékumel were former spacefaring civilizations as well that got trapped here. These colossal planetary-sized machines changed the orbit and the orbital speed of the planet to make it more like Earth. The climate is very, very warm, and it sort of became this place where people either retired to or vacationed on, and some unknown calamity happened where Tékumel and the solar system, I forget the name of the sun in this world.
Wow, not a real fan.
I know.
Gosh, filthy casual.
Yeah, it was caught is caught in a pocket dimension. So there's no, you can see from in the night sky in Tékumel. Tékumel has two moons. One's green, and I think the other one's a sort of beige color. And all of the planets, and you could see them a lot more vividly because there are no stars. You're out of the universe. You're in a totally different dimension. So this super advanced civilization sort of fell back into barbarism and has been working itself back into this kind of like a Bronze Age, Iron Age setting.
But you said it's a very metal poor world.
So like the size of the planet is much bigger than Earth is, but the core has much less metal, so it's less dense. And after everything sort of degrades over thousands of years, metal, bronze, iron, steel, it's exceptionally rare. So weapons and armor are made from this alien beast of burden called a Chlen beast. Their hide can be like sloughed off of their backs, and this hide can sort of be somehow sharpened and treated into taking certain shapes. So you have swords and armor made of this like lacquered, leathery carapace. It's very weird.
Yeah.
Very weird, but very cool.
Come on, mouse. Oh, just stop. Just be normal. Why can't you just be normal? Competing empires. Wow, so different than our world. Yeah. Click, damn you. Holy shit, this is so annoying. There we go.
You have a book there.
I know
it's not working.
I don't know if it's like, it can't be low on battery because it's constantly connected. It's just being stupid. I'm bored with the dungeon part of Dungeons and Dragons. Let's play as modern day vampires.
Well, there you go.
There you go. I assume that this is probably meant sarcastically, but yes.
Yes. Unironically.
Unironically, yes. Oh, we got another super chat. Thank you for the $5.
Probably head to the next con they have. I stopped going to cons because of the smell of fandoms. Texas also almost as nice as my Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not bad. And it's small too is the thing. It's like maybe 500 people.
Good.
Yeah.
You want to go to a small con.
And thank you for the $5.
Thank you, man.
But yeah, we would love to see you there next year.
Absolutely.
Evan Halverson says, "Sup boys, missing Ginger Fraser's Chrome Dome."
Oh man.
I'll take the hat off, but I may have like a hat mark on my head. We'll see. Yep. But there's the Chrome Dome. Original. Oh, Jesus.
Oh my
Come
God.
on. This fucking thing.
Yes,
Let me turn
freaking
it
out.
off and on.
Just turn it off and on.
Yeah. Come on. All right. A little
There
better.
we go. Kind of.
Just got most of the current books. Original Empire of the Petal Throne makes OD&D seem easy.
Yeah.
That's how, in terms of how brutal it is.
That I'm not, because I never played the original box set. I never played this iteration of the game. My understanding is it's basically using basic D&D rules, or OD&D rules, with obviously certain setting specific changes for the different types of weapons and armor, and obviously the different alien monsters and species.
Uh-huh.
But I would imagine it's quite brutal.
Shadow Dark asexual simps. I guess.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Are we? We're not asexual.
I don't think we're asexual at all.
And we're not simps.
And we're not simps.
Yeah.
Disagree.
Yeah, disagree. Yeah, it's like if you say anything positive about a woman, you're a simp. It's not how it's not how it works.
Yeah.
That's not what being a simp is. Although it's fun
It
to
is.
call people simps for doing that.
That is true.
So I get it. Go all the way and get Mage the Ascension.
I will never read that book. I will never read Mage 20.
Oh, we got another one.
The organizers wanted to keep the number to about 500 tickets I saw in an interview on Tenker.
Yeah. Which is
Which
correct.
is very smart. Yeah.
Very smart.
Because
on their
it'll
part.
change the nature of the con if they go farther than that.
And we heard while we were there about another con that's supposed to be in November.
In Lockhart.
Long-con.
Yeah, Long Con in Lockhart, Texas, which we may go to, just depends on like
Maybe.
money.
Yeah. What we got?
Bum bum bum. Hey Rex Teal, we're
Hey, what's
sorry you're
happening,
late too.
Yeah. Too much skooma.
Yeah. If you want to go with Better World of Darkness, go with Bloodlines 1. Yeah. Actually,
You're
yeah,
not wrong.
that's a great way to get an introduction to Vampire
Yeah,
the
if you've
Masquerade.
never played the game,
Yeah.
definitely do.
It really is.
It's so good. It's
Yeah.
it's the perfect chronicle.
For Old World, go Mage and Melt the Universe.
You can definitely do that.
Yeah. I would skip 5e and go with the 20th anniversary stuff, especially if you are a fascist. Renegade does not, air quotes fascist. Renegade does not want you playing their World of Darkness.
Yeah, but neither does Onyx
Yeah,
Path.
but the thing is, it's such horseshit. They put that at the back of the book. The warning, like, hey, just so you know, this game is not for Nazis or people who, blah.
Yeah.
They put it at the back of the book, not on the first page. Which you would think, if you cared about people,
Right. You'd put it way up
you
front
put
in
it
big
way
bold
up front.
text.
Yeah, maybe even put a label on the cover or
Maybe.
something.
Why not have that just be the cover?
Yeah,
Big skull and crossbones.
but I think they're okay with the money.
Yeah. Makes you think.
Yeah. Yeah. Watch the videos put out. Good.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you later. All right. See you later, Griffith Morgan.
Take care.
That's at BLG. Nice. Thank you. Every game gets better by bringing it to the Dark Ages.
Dark
It
Ages is an awesome
it's a
time.
great time for games. I've heard of Tékumel, by the way, and it sounds like a really cool
It's
setting.
an amazing setting.
Right. But did our title work? Many people have told us, I know what Tékumel is.
Right.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Yeah. Not a big fan of the lore of World of Darkness, so I prefer Chronicles. Yeah.
I get that.
I
Yeah.
totally get that. I genuinely agree. Well, the thing is, I actually do like some of the lore in the old World of Darkness, but I don't like playing it.
Right.
I like New World of Darkness because it's much more open and just much more cool and interesting.
That's the biggest
Yeah.
benefit from Requiem.
Yeah. The Savage Worlds Horror Companion does have rules for playing all the supernatural creatures that are in World of Darkness.
Cool.
The time-honored way to begin an Empire of the Petal Throne campaign as you row a boat
Right.
into a city called Jakala, which you called Jakarta.
I called Jakarta,
Yeah.
which is a real city.
Yeah. Fortunately, you're in the foreign recorder, so you don't get killed for your lack of manners your first day. Yeah. Oh, mouse, stop it. Nerd is the word you're looking for. Late to the party? Have to catch up? Yeah. Very few freaks. Thank God you guys were there to represent the freak faction. You're damn right.
Yeah, man.
I'm just going to use the mouse pad.
Probably a good idea. And
because this is unbelievable
unbearable.
How fucking annoying that is.
But like I said at the beginning, maybe we can slide on in here. Because we've talked many times off camera and on camera about how important it is and how bad it is, or how bad the introductory chapters of basically almost every role-playing game. No explanation as to what role-playing is, what the focus is, no mention on immersion of any kind.
Yeah.
They're terrible. So I was interested to read through this introductory section. And like I said initially, it's really good. Despite the areas in which I disagree, just like with the world, a lot of thought went into trying to explain to people, and this was the birth of role-playing games. This is where you needed to tell people what gaming was, because it's being developed and crystallized as Tékumel is sort of coming online. So I'm thinking sort of much like how we did for the Rule of Thule Substack article. Maybe we can go through this. Okay. I've read it. I have my thoughts, but I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Do we have the PDF?
Oh, we don't.
Yeah.
But I can just read this.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine by me.
Okay.
Go for it.
Listen along.
Listen up, boys.
Yeah. So, introduction. So, all of these materials...
Biden's going to say something.
Oh.
If you guys want to know about role-playing, Genie Die is this great video.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll be sure to check it out.
Yeah.
We do love our queen.
So all of these materials herein are intended for adults or for younger persons with a greater than average imagination and an interest in exploring new and unfamiliar cultures. Readers of science fiction and fantasy will find the world of Tékumel entertaining and easygoing, while those who prefer, quote, real-world simulations may not. This is, of course, a matter of taste. For those who are new to fantasy role-playing games, it must be pointed out that these are, in effect, participatory novels, quote-unquote, adventures generated and continued by the referee and the players. One member of a gaming group must take on the tasks of the referee. He or she must use the background materials, design the scenarios or storylines within which the players will interact.
Story gamer.
Yep.
M.A.R. Barker was a story gamer.
Right in the fireplace.
Yeah.
Within which the players will interact and play the parts of the many non-player characters, creatures, etc. which inhabit the world. He or she must also be familiar with the game rules themselves and be able and dictatorial enough to settle questions about the rules and disputes. The referee has to draw up the detailed terrain maps for adventures out of doors, and also the graph paper maps of the underground labyrinths which many players will wish to explore. Suggestions for preparing these materials will be given later. I'll stop there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this is coming out of, the transition from wargaming into role-playing games.
Yeah.
He uses the word referee. He clearly means it more as a wargaming referee of the time. Obviously, we've talked about this, not how we see things, and the notion of participatory novels. Definitely not how I think you or I see things. But I don't know. What are your thoughts so far? Anything popping out at you, or shall I continue?
I think you can continue.
Okay.
It is. I will say it is funny that now, like, what he's talking about with, like, if you want a real simulation, this is not going to be great for you. I'm assuming that in today's parlance, he would be considered like a hardcore simulationist in terms of like the school of thought he's in.
I think so.
But he's talking about people who are into, like, what was the society that they were a part of? It was
I forget
like
the term, but it was a very long
military simulation school or something like that. I don't remember,
Right.
but they're talking about heavily simulationist, real world, realistic war
simulating
gaming.
a real world.
Yeah, a real this world that we live within, where this is very much more of like what Gygax said in the very beginning of the AD&D DMG, where he's talking about, you know, some uncreative war gamers are not going to like this because it's not
Right, and I think that's
not
exactly
what they're doing,
what
yeah.
he means. If you're not creative,
right.
or if you're looking to play in a real world setting, i.e., like Napoleonic Wars,
Right.
or something which
this
actually
was
happened.
the player base that they had to draw from was
Right.
only the people that were strictly interested in that stuff at the time.
Right. I like that he mentions that you have to be dictatorial.
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of times.
Yeah, I love the concept of sword and planet settings and stories. They look like they take fantasy to a very different level. Really enjoying Edgar Rice Burroughs' Barsoom series.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Please
Okay,
continue.
Continuing. The tasks of the referee are arduous. He or she must not only do all of the groundwork mentioned above, but also serves as the opponent and all-round, quote, whipping boy for the players. There are compensations, however. Where else can one find the opportunity to act as gods? As the gods, chance, Mother Nature, and a host of other...
My dog is laying down and having dreams right now.
Yeah.
And is gently barking.
and host of other non-player characters and personalities all rolled up into one. If one's players enjoy the game, one has the satisfaction of having created something which, in time, becomes almost real and so intriguing as to occupy many hours of leisure time. A, quote, ego trip par excellence.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
This guy gets it.
He gets it. This guy gets it.
By the way,
he's just like me.
everything that he's been reading, he's still on the first page. In the first column,
I'm in the first half of the first column.
first half of the first column of text. That's how much.
We'll get through it, though.
This is also why looking at the PDF would be pointless.
Yeah.
The text would be too small for everyone.
I have 3 monitors to read one book. Okay. The players, in turn, must cooperate in this endeavor. They must be willing to roleplay, to try and think as they imagine their characters think, to act as real-life citizens of the particular fantasy world would act, and lay aside the considerations of this world during the hours in which they game. Gaming styles differ from group to group and individual to individual. Some favor a slam-bang adventure format with lots of excitement, fighting, and little social interaction. Others may prefer court and temple intrigues, plots and counterplots, a detailed and structured world, etc. All of these goals can be served by combining the right referee, the right players, and as much of the background materials which follow as are needed and wanted. For the Slam Bang group, the referee may wish to set the scenario in a remote and rather simple region, a place in which the laws of the ancient and conservative 5 empires do not apply, where there are wild and dangerous creatures, and where one depends more upon his weapons than upon his tongue. Those who enjoy more complex scenarios will find plenty of places for their adventures. The vast and complex societies of Tékumel, the politics and machinations of the nations, factions, temples, etc., and the intricate social customs which prevail in the more urbanized and populous regions.
This sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah.
This guy gets it.
He said way more in 2/3 of a column than...
than is in most games.
Yes.
Yeah. We do have a question here.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Jim says, out of curiosity, thoughts on resurrection. Obviously, it's a staple of D&D, but do you like it? Do you minimize it? Remove it entirely? I find it to be an interesting point of game design.
You take it first, because I'm reading a lot here.
Yeah, I have not had... I've never really used resurrection.
Yeah, good luck getting it in one of Matt's game.
Well, it's very possible to get it in X.
That's true.
It's very possible. And I actually do like how... Here's the thing. So there's criticism that Resurrection being too easy to obtain makes it kind of... The game... You have much less skin in the game. Axe does make it easy to obtain for adventurers because you can generally get enough gold and find someone who can do it. But there's a table that you have to roll on, and all of these modifiers that you add to it and subtract from it, and all this stuff called tampering with mortality, and it's based on your alignment. And so when you come back, there is depending on a bunch of different factors, there's a chance you're going to come back really weird, or like something's going to be different about you. So it adds this kind of cost, and it changes you permanently, which I really like that.
Yeah. I have no problem with Resurrection, but I think that should be role played out. I don't like the idea of a Resurrection spell, or if it's a spell like it's quote unquote a prayer that your god is answering. That should come with. That should be like a whole story arc minimum.
Agreed. That is something that I would not allow them to handle Resurrection in downtime.
Oh yeah.
Like you're gonna have to play that out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
we got a super chat.
Botulism sounds like a board game. Just a thought popped in my head.
Botulism sounds like a board game. Thanks, Biden. Common J, thank you for the $5, man, and for making us laugh.
Okay, I'm gonna try and get through this. For the best results, 5 to 8 players make up a good-sized group. Smaller parties, even just one player and the referee, can be enjoyable, although the fun of interplayer camaraderie is lessened. A courageous referee can manage still larger groups, as many as 15 to 20 players. But these then tend to divide up into natural leaders and born followers, and less aggressive players may not get much of a chance to, quote, do their stuff. A fairly homogeneous group seems best for maximum enjoyment. People of approximately the same age and culture background. This should not exclude precocious younger players, however, nor those who are older but still young enough in heart to be fascinated by vicarious adventure. As its name implies, a fantasy role-playing campaign is not a casual parlor pastime, something to be started and finished within a single evening. It is designed to continue over several months or even years, with weekly, monthly, etc. meetings which may last for hours at a time. One establishes a character, a persona, in a new and unfamiliar world and watches this individual grow, progress in society, meet challenges, and overcome them, and hopefully go on to retire as High General of the Empire, or something similar, at an advanced old age. This takes time, and it is not so much the final result as the excitement along the way, which provides the interest. One can design short and simple campaigns, of course, scenarios which are complete in and of themselves within a single evening's gaming. To me, at least, these are not as much fun as longer-term character development aforementioned.
We have to run this.
We will.
Just based on this just past half a page that you've written. We do have a question about the binding, though. Rex Teal asking, how's the binding of the hardback for Tékumel? Am I better off just getting the paperback? So that depends on your experience with Drive-Thru RPG, because this is a
drive-thru RPG.
It's a drive-thru print on demand, which they had purchased a bunch of copies from Drive-Thru and were selling at the con. Mm-hmm. They did show us, though, the new Tékumel maps, and it's not the ones that were on the table in that interview, because those are not released yet. Yeah. But the Tékumel maps that are available through Drive-Thru cards, we got to see those. Those were great looking. Yeah, they were
and there's several.
Gorgeous.
There's several ones. There's, I believe, a city map of
Chikala,
and several maps of the Empire, the continent. And
they're figuring out how to do it because it's fucking huge. But what is it? The Chikalan Underworld?
The Chikalan Underworld. There's at least one picture online of the Chikalan Underworld, and it's this massive poster, and that is one level.
Yeah, it's one level.
And what each hex is like?
No, it's a grid.
It's a grid.
It's a grid. it's 10 squares per inch. Every square is
10 feet.
10 feet. It's massive.
Gigantic.
And this was the thing that he said to us was that, we have some of the stuff from Arneson that was things that he revised after they played many years later. We have some of the stuff from Gygax for like the original Greyhawk that was changed and altered after what was played. This is going to be the actual Jakalan Underworld that was played originally.
So if they can get when they
have it,
get
they're figuring out how do we want to print this? Should it be in sections? Should it be?
It would be like the earliest dungeon.
It would be the earliest dungeon available, and the most historically authentic one because it's literally what they played,
right?
Which is fucking rad.
Which is great. And he told it. So Victor told us a story, and I think he's told this story at least once that I recall on the Hall of Blue Illumination podcast.
Which is just at techumelpodcast.com.
Right. Where, I should have brought the, we got a copy of one of the original Judge's Journal, Tékumel.
Oh, yeah.
The modules, which is so cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah. But there's this curved maze. It looks like a fingerprint. Blotch, and apparently Gary was playing in a game run by
so funny.
Barker, and they're going through. They're taking their time. They have their 10-foot poles and all the
they're going down these hallways.
The things.
It literally the map looks like a fingerprint. It's that, but like bigger and more complex because it's this crazy curving maze that just goes back in on itself. Yeah,
no consideration to ease of description or. So Victor was describing how this was being run, and there was a look of rage and and awareness came over Gary Gygax's face when he realized that this is.
He's like, "Is this?"
It's like,
God damn
Barker's,
it, Barker!
God damn it, Barker's this is a fucking maze. Like
he's like, "Yeah."
I did say just said like. So he had a magic item that disintegrated like stone.
Yeah.
He just blasted
the wall. He says, okay, is there another wall behind that? Yes. Okay, I'd do it again. So he just like carved a straight line.
He was so mad. And when it was done, when they got to the center, he's like in, I don't know how rage, I think he was, I like to imagine he was on the verge of rage quitting. But they got to the center. He said, mark it down on the map.
Yeah.
Mark it down that I cut a fucking a corridor through this. And they did. And I think that's actually in the Jakalan Underworld now. The straight line
carved by Gygax.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, let me...
Yep, continue, please.
Okay, what then are the player's responsibilities? Good question. He or she reacts to the referee's scenario as it unfolds, telling the referee what action is being performed, speaking his or her character's part in any dialogue, and striving for the goals of material or social progress for his or her persona within the limits of the rules and the chosen role. Combat and sorcery requires some dice rolling, and each player is expected to maintain a character record sheet, which will list the capabilities, possessions, etc. of the persona. Players in a fantasy role-playing campaign need not compete directly against one another, as in other types of games. Instead, they act as a group and combat the referee's creatures and fiendishly devise traps and snares. Some groups permit and encourage more selfish styles of play, stealing treasures for oneself, plotting against other player characters, and even deliberate murder. I can only speak from personal experience when I say that, for me, this detracts from the enjoyment of the game, particularly when there is no reason for it within the context of the simulation itself. Murder and mayhem may occur within the player group from time to time, but such actions should be in response to stimuli within the game and not motivated by casual greed or by misplaced humor. Simulation, to me, is the desired end. I want my adventures to be as real as possible. Others may prefer a different gaming style, of course, and to each their own. Apart from to each their own, I think he's completely right.
Yeah.
And it's like
no, I agree.
These are so many things everyone is talking about in the modern day. He's laying it out. It's great.
Right. And the problems existed then, and idiots still didn't get it.
Yeah. What kind of a world, then, is Tékumel? The first response which comes to mind is that it is ancient medieval. in its overall technology. There are swords, bows, armor, and all the panoply of the pre-gunpowder ages of Earth. It is also a science fictional in possessing non-human races, quote, magic, which is based more upon a science fictional foundation than upon the principles of medieval sorcery in this world, and occasional devices representing a technology far beyond that of the present. The rationale for all of this will be clear from reading the first few sections of this book. Socially and culturally, Tékumel is as complex and as alien to modern thinking as Byzantium, ancient Egypt, Tenochtitlan, or India and the Mughals. The India of the Mughals. It is not a traditional Western, ancient medieval world, however. Its laws, mores, architecture, everything will be as unfamiliar to those who are skilled in the lore of the ancient Mediterranean world or medieval Europe as anything can be. It is also not the world of any popular science fiction or fantasy author. The discerning reader will indeed perceive elements taken from all of these sources, particularly from Egypt, the Aztecs and the Mayans, the Hellenic Age, Mughal India, and medieval Europe. I have also unashamedly borrowed ideas from science fiction and fantasy literature, a genre which I have been reading ever since 1938. Nevertheless, the ethos of Tékumel is not any one of these, nor, I hope, even as an easily recognizable combination. My desire is to create a mythos which will be interestingly different from the traditional ones mentioned above, yet one in which others can participate and gain the same enjoyment which I have had. If this is successful, then I shall be more than satisfied.
Yeah.
So good.
That's one page.
Yeah. It's not even one page.
But this is
I can go on, but
that's only what I'm saying is that is only one page. That like all of that
is distilled,
that
consolidated.
All like he had the correct ideas as to what you can get out of the role playing game. You know, you can get so much more.
The only thing I just want to find the section the question about the impenetrability. I just want to touch on if I can find it.
I'll answer this question though. With your thoughts on resurrection on the table, how do you reconcile those feelings against the instant death effects of games? I tend to not like instant death effects because it feels cheap, unless it's something like they jump off a cliff or like some they're smushed by Godzilla, something along those lines. But it's like, even in Macree's AX1 Sinister Stone, which is a module that I've run and I love, there are a lot of instant death traps. It's save versus poison or die, or like there's a couple of places where you just die and it's like, that fucking sucks. Like, but the way he described it when I asked him about it in the Discord was very funny. He's like, yeah, I tend to not do these sorts of traps anymore, but there is a certain je ne sais quoi when you when your old West Point buddies go in and you kill the entire party in one trap.
Yeah.
And Rex Teal says, I love the way the axe handles resurrection, though I personally would have resurrection be forbidden magic, either because it brings people back as undead or it summons them something from the other side. Yeah.
That's certainly the quick and easy way.
Mm-hmm. And someone also, the Van is talking about Barsoom. Troll Lord Games apparently has I think a Kickstarter going right now for Barsoom.
That's awesome.
Well, because it's part of the Kickstarter for like their non-OGL version, which unfortunately I really like the covers of not the Kickstarting versions, the ones that are out now.
Oh yeah, they're better in my estimation. Yeah.
The story with Gygax is amazing. Yeah.
Typical Gygax moment.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
Continue.
This is a long section, so I'm gonna get through it, but it's pertinent to the question, like the penultimate question about Tékumel or Glorantha, or even something like Vampire the Masquerade with its meta plot. We've talked about Vampire here, or I can imagine even something like Call of Cthulhu. Like, I don't know anything about 1920s history. Not the point, and should not be a detriment. So,
actually, sorry, one more thing. So is this going to feel alien in a similar way to Morrowind? Obviously, it's an alien world, but I hope you know what I mean. So Morrowind does not feel like typical fantasy.
No, it doesn't.
It is very weird. There's a bunch of mushrooms. There's silt striders. All these weird fucking things. I would say probably
Yeah.
But it's not going to feel like Morrowind, if that's your question.
Right. Yeah.
But the feeling of the alienness,
It's a feeling of like wonder and
there is familiarity to things, like you will understand. There's gravity. There's swords. But yes, it'll be a very, very different experience.
Yeah. To those who have never looked at Tékumel, I can only suggest the following. If you are interested in a role-playing game based on the sort of mythos described above, and if you want to explore something less familiar than the tried-and-true backgrounds of our Western civilization, then you may enjoy Tékumel. Start by reading the background materials given here. Treat them as you would a story. Look at the table of contents and read those sections which interest you the most. Browse. Use the index. Pick out a nation or culture which attracts you more than the rest, and go through the book to find everything I have said about it. Don't try to assimilate everything all in one sitting. If you're planning a campaign, all you need is the first immediate locale and an introductory scenario. You will need maps of the underground labyrinths, which your players will want to adventure, plus some ideas about the terrain and the inhabitants of your region. Other things can come later. Then utilize the older gaming systems of Empire of the Petal Throne or the new rules which will follow. Construct a few characters, learn the basics of movement, combat, and magic, and play. I think that you will quickly find yourself at home on Tékumel. And as your campaign grows and your players become more experienced, further details will just flow. I have heard from dozens of players to whom the social structures, religions, personalities, creatures, etc. of Tékumel are as familiar as though they had lived there all their lives. Many gamers know the rules better than I do myself, and are forever catching me out on points I had forgotten. So real do these creations of fantasy become that they take on all the hues of reality during a gaming session. Players quickly learn to laugh at the gruff and clumsy Ahogya, to dread the sweet fragrance of musty cinnamon, to shudder at the undead minions of mighty Sarku, to glory in the drums and glitter of the legions of the Petal Throne, or to stand bravely beside the Baron of Yankor in his quest for justice and revenge. It all depends not so much upon familiarity versus alienness, as upon the degree to which these things conjure up visual images and interest you. If you like these features, you will like Tékumel. Once you have purchased this book, moreover, you are welcome to pick and choose from it and use it in your own gaming as you wish. There is no need for your Tékumel to be identical with my Tékumel. Introduce other characters, different animals, further races. After all, my terrain maps show only a portion of the planet's northern hemisphere, and there is lots of room around the other side. Change the social structures. Throw out or ignore features which do not appeal to you. Use your own imagination to bring in features which you and your players will enjoy. The game can function as a springboard into your own fantasy mythos, and if you go on to develop this, we shall all be the richer. If you already have a campaign which uses some other sets of rules, you may still wish to utilize these background materials either directly or as a stimulus to enhance your world. Even were we to issue a monthly newsletter or exchange data by telephone, you can see how dated this is. By telephone, there is no real way to prevent your history from diverging from mine. I can indeed provide further materials, and some are already available from the publisher of this book, but we cannot keep your Tékumel from drifting away from mine. This is as it should be. You have just bought my Tékumel. Now make it your Tékumel.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
100%.
Off-Grid Gognard was trying to comment on a gun YouTube video, and it like auto-played over to ours, and so he posted about his shotgun, and that's okay. We are big fans of the Second Amendment here.
Very much so.
Patty's Parlor, dude, I heard that. After writing and reading so many rules, I often get my own rules wrong, especially when I remember mechanics I've cut. Yeah.
Yep.
And good to see you, Patty. Rex Teal, oh yeah, I know it's not going to be the same as Morrowind, and I wouldn't want it to be. But yeah, basically weird, very non-generic. Yeah, very non-generic. Yes. That is correct.
Yeah. Weird and alien in the best possible way.
Yeah. Wanted to attempt an Elden Ring TTRPG. Thoughts? Like to write one?
I mean, you can definitely...
I'm not familiar. I haven't played Elden Ring.
I haven't played Elden Ring. I know it's quite quite popular. But yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry, a Dragonlance mod for Skyrim might bring world peace.
Shauner may have that mod already installed. Maybe not installed, but it's in the background ready to go. Yeah, go for it. I'm more of a Dark Souls guy. I like Dark Souls. I know there is a Dark Souls RPG. The problem in my mind of like running or making a Dark Souls or even an Elden Ring game is so much of that world of like the FromSoft games. It's about the solitary experience, the isolation. So I don't know how you would squaring the circle with a party dynamic. I don't have that answer. I haven't thought about it enough, but
and I don't even know if it would work as like a solo game either. I just don't think it's I don't know that the role-playing game is the correct medium. You know?
Yeah. Or you change the the time period where it's set, where maybe the world was a little bit more sort of alive and vibrant, and you had some kind of civilization that was still functioning, maybe. What do we got
If
here?
you want to run Dark Souls or Elden Ring RPG, ask yourself why. What do you like about those settings and games? Then do your own thing to get that feeling.
I mean, Mr. Max is completely right.
Take inspiration from it and do something like it.
And there might be an answer. I like Dark Souls. I'm not interested in sort of playing a role-playing game in it, but the answer might be there.
Yeah. We love Dark Souls and From Software, because of the responsive animations and visual feel to it. You don't get that in TTRPGs. Maybe.
A good Bethesda game would make the world explode.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly,
It'll never happen again. Yeah.
It's over.
The setting is utterly rich, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Setting is cool. Yeah.
Thank you for the two Canadian smackaroonies. We do appreciate it. And holy shit, we caught up with the chat. It's going to be different if you like the challenge, or if you like the narrative style, or if you like the aesthetics. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that, that's the thing. What do you like about Elden Ring or Dark Souls? For me, for Dark Souls, I haven't played Elden Ring. I really like the world. I like the feel of it. I like the vibe of it. But so much of that world, of that feel, like I was saying, it's about being alone. It's about being like the last, or one of the last people with any sort of wits about them. And you're witnessing this sort of tremendous global reality spanning decay. There's sort of like an ennui to it. And ennui is sort of a difficult thing to like manifest in a gaming group.
Yeah. The challenge is mostly about learning the enemy animations and doing the dance.
Sure, for the video game.
By the way, play Elden Ring, you nerds.
I don't know. I've played Dark Souls. It's enough. It's
Yeah. I've got the WWF RPG.
nice.
Where's
have
WWF?
World Wrestling Federation.
It's World Wrestling Entertainment.
Oh,
And
right,
they will
you're
never
right.
allow
Yeah,
you to even
say
see the
that.
WWF
It's not
logo
wrestling.
ever
It's
again.
sports entertainment.
Yeah, that's why I was confused.
Yeah.
I was like, they can't possibly be making a mistake. Big words time. If you make it, you might catch depression. I don't have time for video games. World Wildlife Fund RPG. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah.
Save the pandas.
Alchemic Raker from TBE's with the Basic Experts Gilded Server and I talked about Dark Souls, and we came to the conclusion that it could possibly work in OD&D plus chainmail, white box, as a Bronstein. It does not surprise me that is the conclusion that Alchemic Raker came to. And he may be right.
Who knows?
I very much appreciate Alchemic Raker's perspective on things. World Wrestling Federation, you're damn right. Ennui was all the rage back in the 90s, especially in World of Darkness.
Yep.
Exactly. Sign of the times. Hard to reproduce in a modern group. Yep.
Right. I mean, even in the 90s, like, if you're
What
trying
fucking
to...
song is this? Next.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. We've moved on playlists. I didn't have it on. That's, got to put
There
that
we
on
go.
repeat.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to
Saved.
get hit with a copyright claim.
Which cannot happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I just don't know the things that I like about the FromSoft worlds are I just don't see a way to make them present in a gaming group. But if you have an answer for that, you know, if you can square that circle, like I said, that would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I would definitely watch a video. I would buy a game. I would read a Substack about how that was done. Because
On We Drinking Game, now on BLG.
yeah,
What do we think of 4E? We're gonna make a video about it. Not for a little bit because we've got a
bunch of other
bunch
stuff.
of other shit that we have to do right now. I definitely see why the people who like 4E like it. It's a very just different type of game. It's not.
I think it was an exceptionally well designed product for a very particular style of play,
Right.
which should not have been called D&D.
Right. Or if they called it D&D Tactics or something.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
even just said like, this is new chainmail, you know, like which would piss off a lot of people. But it's definitely like it's a very tactical game. It requires a grid. Like you can apparently do it with
Right.
Theater of the Mind, but that would literally be against its entire design to do that. It's not for me.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a game that I would enjoy for my meat and potatoes.
Right. Yeah. I do appreciate that in the player's handbook, they pretty early and pretty explicitly identify something we've mentioned with regards to like a real and meaningful transition with regards to player power from early to mid to high level
There's a genre
play.
shift.
If there's a genre shift,
Yeah.
and
they have
they-
that
there's
demarcated by like
demarcated
this is the
tiers,
Paragon tier.
so
Yeah, like,
it's okay, you recognize that, you get that, which is cool. I like that, but it's it's way too tactical and way too focused on that aspect,
right.
For me.
And the thing is, like, the Wizards, of course, is always their own worst enemy, and they probably could have had 2 successful games if they had just cleaned up 3.5 and created this as a separate game. They could have had 2 successful games in parallel, and instead they created Pathfinder.
Right. And the success
And
of
Paizo.
Pathfinder was proof that it was too early, I think, to change the dynamic. There was still a tremendous interest in that kind of style.
Yeah.
But if they had, like you said, a skirmish game on the market as well for the people who wanted that,
It would
and
still
not-
be alive today, I think.
it would still be alive today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
For
it would
sure.
probably be a thriving, totally separate community. And maybe
Right.
they'd be eating more of like Games Workshop's lunch money at this point.
Maybe. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Bastard Sword does Dark Souls well if what you're after is fighting the huge monsters with big weapons.
Hell yeah. Yeah, and I think Mr. Max has a stream scheduled.
Yeah, he's going to be testing it like other people.
Yeah.
He's letting it out to.
I saw that in my in my feed. I will be tuning in for that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm very excited.
If a Souls game was turned into MRPG, spell it right, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. It would be just another dungeon crawler, and it would lack what makes both RPGs and Souls games compelling. Armored Core, on the other hand, yeah.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. One thing I love about DS1 is the dense world building, Dark Souls 1, and the lack of lore dump. Yeah. They don't force feed you a fucking story. Do that in your RPG.
Yeah. Dark Souls 1's the best, I think.
BOF reminds me of a rule set and setting where you could run a Witcher themed overlay. The Polish Baptism of Fire. The Polish myth lore common thread being a large part of that.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed 4E. We enjoyed playing it.
We did enjoy it. Yes.
We did enjoy it.
It was very fun.
But it's not my game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Not my game. The at-will encounter daily mechanic of 4E broke my immersion.
And I loved playing my character.
Yeah, Nick.
I had fun.
Yeah. I liked 4E at the time. I'd play if someone I knew ran it, but it's not something I'm going out of the way for. Yeah. Call 4E plate mail. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, fucking mouse. Come on, just a little more. There we go. D&D Tactics would have been a good idea. We used to have D&D and AD&D, so why not D&D and D&D and D&DT? Yeah, I agree. My opinion on it is that it's really hard to get into character in it because you're supposed to play your role for the way the game works. Maybe it's just that the combat is just going to be extremely tactical. Yeah, like you can't.
And I guess the fact that so much of what's on your sheet are these powers that come from your class. I could see that.
And the thing is, like, it's very tactical in the sense that it's like you whatever someone just did in the last round, whether it was you or an enemy, is going to affect like your choice on what power you're going to use. There is this kind of like almost like chess element to it. It definitely take me out of it, and it's hard to be in the moment in the combat, you know.
Yeah,
in the game, the game itself, the focus is very heavy on combat. Like
your attention
the mechanics
needs to be on the mechanics and the tactics.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a mental cost.
Yeah. Young Steve Buscemi, I loved you as that fucking animal Blundetto. Yeah, he was 50 years old and he was just a kid.
I mean, what did I do?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Also, the way the game gives you abilities is acausal. The cause can be anything, but the effects are super specific. It's either broad causes and broad effects or specified causes and specific effects. Are you saying that there's like not like a lore reason as
or maybe
for what
like
the power, how the
there are
power
certain
works?
powers are like precipitated by various conditions of like I had certain powers that required someone to be adjacent to somebody else, or I had to be grappling someone, or they had to be bloodied.
Yeah. I don't know. A magic point or stamina point system would have worked much better with the power system they came up with. I like the idea, hate the implementation.
I was a fighter and had no spells.
And Leper is a great DM. That is true.
Yes.
John Smith, for those who don't know. Oh my God, this mouse. It's like I start moving it and then it stops and I keep moving it just a tiny bit and then it goes way farther than it needs to. While the game mechanics in Dark Souls are amazing, I'm far more interested in the subtle world building and implying it in the system of your choice.
Yeah, the world and the world building are amazing in Dark Souls 1.
DDT, Dungeons and Dragons Tactics,
yes.
Yeah. Bum, bum, bum. I think the big reason Pathfinder did so well is no one wanted a new system that was not compatible with all the books they have already purchased.
Oh, yeah, it's a
totally.
huge part of it.
Yeah. They sort of did make 4E D&D Tactics. All those boxed miniature games they made were 4E light.
I'm not familiar with that.
The what? calling it WWE. I was so close to labeling you guys the DX.
Oh.
I don't get it.
I'm assuming that has to do with something from the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
But it's been a while.
It's been a while. Look, I was watching WWF. All right. I stopped before the WWE transition.
I was more of a WCW guy in the early,
I liked
early
WCW,
90s.
but I gotta say it sucked compared to when it was Stone Cold and fucking The Rock
yeah.
and Triple H.
Yeah.
Attitude Era. There was no comparison.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the People's Elbow. Exactly.
People's Elbow, that's right.
And The Rock just sucks now. Oh my god, I hate him. Gamma World 70 is based fairly loosely on 4E. Will you guys read Pathfinder 2? No. I just have no interest in it.
I played 2 sessions when Pathfinder 2 came out. I played on Roll20 2 sessions of whatever the first fucking adventure path was, Age of Ashes. It was that adventure path is so bad for many reasons, which I'm not going to go into now. But the game was so terrible, I quit, and I didn't like it. And the Pathfinder 1 book is big enough already. Pathfinder 2 is notably bigger. Like, your page count does not need to go up from edition to edition. It's terrible. The art is so much worse. Like, say what you want about like Wayne Reynolds' art style. There's something at least exciting about it. It's at least a style. The Pathfinder 2 art, everybody looks like they lost 30 pounds and has been like going on a hunger strike. They look emaciated, washed out, and sick.
What is this? Any chance of a review stream of the World of Darkness documentary that came out a few years ago on Prime?
Whoa, I did not hear this.
I didn't even know there was one.
We are going to have to watch this.
Yeah, we are.
Really soon.
Ken Butler.
What's it called?
Please tell us what it's called, because we would like to watch this.
Yes.
And I didn't know it existed. Let me see here. I can get playing a character that is a tactician in this magical world, but didn't get into that.
Right.
4E felt very play the class, not the character. The Van and Patty's Parlor, I think, are still talking about Gamma World, maybe? Yeah.
Maybe.
Dozen times. I love Gamma World 7E. I've read the book so many times and it feels right, especially with the cards. I've never played Garrett. Yeah, Gamma World. I'm saying I have no idea what my character's relationship to the maneuvers is.
Right.
Yeah. With all this talk of you need to keep an eye on tactics and conditions in the battle, sounds like a game you have to run raw. People are adverse to that. Probably.
I would imagine so. I mean, a lot of it seems really tightly designed for, like, if then, situations. I would imagine you'd really have to know the rules in and out to make any kind of changes without breaking the flow.
Right. Yeah, I could try a different USB port, but it's wireless, and the part that I need to unplug is too far away from me at the moment. Not too far away from the mouse, though. It's not a sensitivity issue. It's stuttering is the problem. When is a game considered gonzo?
I think when a game is gonzo when there's the more I think about gonzo, I really do think in almost every case
It's fucking terrible.
it's terrible. It's advertising bad gimmicky world building as a feature and not a bug.
Yeah.
When your game purposely makes no sense.
Yeah. You guys started talking about wrestling just after I was thinking DDP, DDT, lol. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
World Economic Forum is the best wrestling league. It's a decent documentary. It's just called World of Darkness. Okay.
Okay. We
will watch that.
We will watch that.
From what I've heard, Wayne Reynolds was told to tone down his art by the higher-ups. He has fantastic line art in The Return to White Plume Mountain.
Okay. I mean, I don't hate... This is part of my, biased nostalgia for Pathfinder 1. The art is bad. I have some kind of an appreciation for the aesthetic in that context of Pathfinder 1. I started with Pathfinder 1. I don't know what... I mean, I believe that that's true. Like, toning down the art style... Like, you could Wayne Reynolds could tone down his art style and have sort of less fucking belt buckles and straps and, doodads on their person. All these people look like they have cancer.
That is one thing I didn't like about 4E as well. I hate the art.
Yeah.
The art sucks. I just don't like... I hate that whole aesthetic.
Yeah.
Let me see here. There's a good Dungeons & Dragons documentary called Eye of the Beholder. That's correct. I have seen that one. That one is excellent. Features the Four Horsemen bigly. Yeah, and they skip over 3E and 4E. Like, it's like the last 10 minutes of the documentary, basically. They get through all the modern shit. They spend all their time talking about 1E and then the golden age of the 80s. I think Gonzo is better described by examples. Gamma World, Rifts, and Chalt are all three that come to mind.
I mean, I'm not familiar with Gamma World. We have talked about Rift. We talked about Rifts maybe a couple streams ago. I think Rifts... I don't know that Rifts is Gonzo necessarily. It's too well done, I think. But yeah, it's definitely more Gonzo for sure.
Come on, Patty, what are you doing? Gonzo is great. It's Thundar the Barbarian and Meth and Muppets.
Dude,
I don't want Muppets in my role playing game. I just don't. Or murder alien clowns in Chalt's case. It's free on YouTube. Even better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the cheat code.
Yeah, I'm so glad that Pathfinder for Savage Worlds uses mostly Pathfinder 1 art. Sounds like the mouse aperture for the laser is dirty. Clean it up with a Q-tip. Thing is when I plug it in, plug it in via USB, it's fine. It's just when we're out here. If the Camarilla is like the Mafia, are the Anarchs like Antifa, or Street Gang like the Crips, if we're being generous, and are the Sabbat like a Doomsday cult? So, the Anarchs should be kind of like Antifa, like useful idiots that are manipulated to do violence on behalf of the Camarilla in some cases. I like the way... I don't like the Anarchs. I like the way that the Carthians are portrayed in Requiem 2nd Edition because they are like revolutionary communists.
Yeah, the Anarchs are absolutely terrible.
Yeah, but they're dumb.
Well,
They're so
not only
dumb.
are they dumb,
They're fucking lame.
They could not exist. Because you could say, yes, there is an aspect in the premise thematically, which is, Antifa would make more sense, or what's the term I'm looking for? Agent provocateurs. But you can't do that with the Masquerade. You can't set up a patsy group to take the fall. If humans learn about vampires, it's over for the vampires.
Everyone.
So you can't... They would not be allowed to exist. They would be killed off entirely. You are either under the thumb of the Camarilla, or you're in hiding, or you're on the red list. There's no way that is possible. Or you're with the Sabbat, of course. And the Sabbat, I think, are more like a doomsday cult, a militant religious zealot doomsday cult, who are actually right all along. But
the Sabbat or the jihadist terrorist group. Yeah.
Right.
That's very close.
Yeah. But there are no unaligned vampires.
Yeah. The independents,
Yeah.
clans. No, that's not how it works.
Now, they could have done something where you could envision a World of Darkness with sort of more than one global or very large regional faction of vampires that actually would make sense, something like the Voivodes of the Zimisee in Eastern Europe. You know, you can have large blocks of power, of institutionalized power. You could have another competing group alongside the Camarilla and the Sabbat. You could do that, but they're not anarchs in the way that they're described in World of Darkness. That would not fly. No one would permit that.
Right. Sabbat games were always so much better than Camarilla games in my experience.
The Sabbat are cool.
That is true. Dumb and lame could not exist describes the real communism that a lot of White Wolf writers claim Russia wasn't.
Yeah.
What happened to my last comment? I deleted it because we explained at the beginning of the stream when someone else made a similar type of comment. We don't want to.
We don't want to make ourselves radioactive.
We don't want to make ourselves radioactive, and we also don't want to bring any bad attention onto the Tékumel Foundation. It's been a source of embarrassment for them, and we don't want to contribute to that. And we don't want to be so radioactive that we can't talk to people. Vampires, for me, is about having to live as a parasite.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a funky lag issue. Yeah, that's what's going on. I have no more solutions other than get a wired mouse. Yeah, it is wired. I just don't have. I left the wire in the office. Separate the art from the artist. Enough said. Exactly. I'm sure this is a broad question, but what is the difference between VTM and VTR thematically? It's big. The focus in VTR is much more personal horror. Like personal gothic horror, corruption of the self, and everything. The stakes are much more personal, whereas in Vampire the Masquerade, it's much more of a global conspiracy. The Camarilla cities are much more connected. You're much more isolated in Requiem, so it's a much more local focus, and there's much more dark mystery in Requiem because the lore is left open. There's not a fixed mythology for the vampires or anything. Nobody can remember back that far, even the elders, because when you go to sleep, your mind turns to Swiss cheese. Whereas in Masquerade, you have elders that have, they go to sleep for 1,000 years, they come back and they just start kicking again, It's very different.
Yeah.
I've always just seen the Anarchs as Camarilla Light, only pissy because they aren't in charge.
It's like a doubling. Yeah. It's a doubling of why they're bad. It's like you can't go deep into the Anarchs without making it so clear that this is an untenable like group in the world, and so they default to that. They default to like worse, shittier, bitchier Camarilla, which defeats the purpose thematically of what the Anarchs are.
Yeah.
Okay, the Anarchs are just the Camarilla with like leather, biker coats, and they call their leaders barons and not princes. That's boring.
Yeah.
And they couldn't exist if you took them seriously. They should be taken out of the game entirely. It is a mistake in 5th edition that they're there, but there's no way they could have taken them out because of again, the worst part of World of Darkness are the fans.
Yeah. Every
Big time.
Terrible people. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see here. Heck, a big part of the Sabbat is the jihad. Yeah, exactly. Also, White Wolf screwed up in the translation. Jihad means effort in Arabic.
Well, it's jihad with a it's a J,
with a
Y,
J and a Y.
And a Y.
Yeah.
It's a nodist term.
Yeah. The Anarchs were interesting in LA by night after writing an entire plot for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jihad in Vampire means meta plot.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And if the mouse would work.
Oh my God.
Anyhow, I'm kind of out of things to say. I don't know about you. Chat, are you out of things to say? Should we wrap it up
Seems
a little
like
early?
it. Yeah, why not?
Going once? Going twice?
So
Never, says Patty.
that is
Great stream.
Not in the
Thank you
cards.
guys. Yeah. The Sabbat are the real anarchs in my heart. They're actually different enough from the Camarilla.
well. The Sabbat do
Like,
what's
yeah,
best.
Sanctum, best vampires, Christ is king. Agree.
Yeah,
They are my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree. And thank you, Max, for not wanting to make us radioactive. Are there RPGs around the Crusades that you would
Crusades.
recommend? Not that I know of.
Yeah. There are very few based games like that.
I just don't know. There must be like a BRP or Mithras setting for it, though.
So there is Mythic Constantinople.
That's true. Yeah.
And certainly Constantinople and the Eastern Roman Empire was a big part of Christendom, obviously. You could certainly use Constantinople. The sacking of Constantinople in, I believe, the early 1500s.
Yeah.
As a backdrop for a Crusader type game, which would be cool.
Got a couple here. Nighty night. Yep, we're gonna sign off here in just a second. I have Titus and Josephus still going at it 2,000 years after. I think Ars Magica has a setting book focusing on them, and you
cool.
can play a Templar. Okay,
Nice.
cool. We need to check out Ars Magica as well.
Yeah. I have it. We can look at it.
Play VTM set in antiquity, piss off the Brujas, sack Carthage. Yeah.
Oh, and
Requiem for Rome is also a very good.
nice.
Very good Requiem supplement.
Malky is mentioning Pendragon, which is not the Crusades, but that is Arthurian chivalric knights.
Right.
That is good, and you could also play Paladin, which you are not playing Arthurian knights. You're explicitly playing Charlemagne's paladins.
Thank you, Patty, and everybody go subscribe to Patty on Rumble because I believe that's where he does his streams. And yeah, with that though, we're going to cut it short tonight. Thank you very much.
Mr. Max
for,
said the same thing I did.
Oh, okay.
Great minds.
Yeah. Pendragon or Paladin? Yeah, because Paladin's Charlemagne, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I have not looked into the Hollow Earth expedition.
I used to have the Hollow Earth expedition. I gave it away because, unbeknownst to me, I randomly won. So the RPG Brigade Con, or the Brigade Con where we met, I randomly won a raffle, and I had no idea that I participated in or won a raffle, but I got Hollow Earth Expedition in the mail and promptly gave it away.
It's threw it in the trash. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Have a good night, guys. We're getting out of here.
Take care, guys.